And something that I was thinking about as you were talking about this evolution in terms of the cognitive involvement from a Google search to using an LLM to output something, and how with the Google search, you're at least still actively looking up information. You're maybe comparing a few different resources and saying, okay, 4 out of the 5 top results all say the same thing. So that's probably reliable. And so you're doing some kind of more critical thinking yourself there. It set my mind off on this. I just kind of did this thought experiment about, I was thinking about, I had this visual of myself as a kid growing up before the internet. And I, in order to look things up, I was dependent upon the dictionary, the thesaurus, the encyclopedia that were in my family home. And it seems like, that's if the LLM is taking away a lot of cognitive ability, Google is kind of on a spectrum. It's in between the LLM and me manually looking something up in these physical books, because there's all kinds of interesting things that happen when you physically look something up in a book like that, where you are being exposed to other rich information. So unlike when you do the Google search, the other kinds of things that are showing up on your screen, the things that are showing up top of the fold, the things that are most geared in terms of what humans have been designing as well as algorithms to capture your attention on those pages are ads. But when I'm opening up a dictionary, all of that is information rich. And oh, that's an interesting, illustration of some kind of tree in Asia. And you just kind of end up reading about that. And in ways that you don't even do on purpose, that experience of discovering this other random piece of knowledge about an Asian tree makes it easier to remember and have this sophisticated web of connections on whatever it was you really were
And
looking up.
meaning, right? It's like you're actually discovering things, and all of those different inputs are creating an insight and meaning that stays with you. You've just understood something in a different way that was very personal to you and your experience in the world. So what I would say the equivalent of that in this new era where we're living with AI is, I think we need to use AI to our advantage, and we also need to remain competitive to AI. Like, what is our unique human advantage, and how do we double down on that? So even though earlier in this conversation, I said that AI is part of our cognitive evolution, or at least that's something that I believe, it's part of us in the same way that language is part of us, but it's not all of us. We don't experience everything in the world through language. We're also these embodied creatures that were born to be human, living in the world and having a lived experience and being able to notice things and engage with other people, be it discover different places, make connections in the real world that inform our insight and our understanding of things. And so I think that example of you with the thesaurus, tough word, is actually something that is even more. I think in the age of Google, it was like, oh goodness, well, Google totally replaces that behavior. But now we should be doubling down on those behaviors and those experiences, because that is truly what makes us human and makes us competitive to AI. Because AI, yes, AI is multimodal and can see and sort of things, but it doesn't really. AI ultimately is not human, and it's not embodied and embedded in the world. And so what do we do in the age of AI? Yes, collaborate with it, free ourselves, solve big problems with it, and free ourselves to be more human. I think ultimately that is what I'm hopeful about, and I feel is very true. We need to be more human because our future and our existence sort of depends on it, and we need to tap into humanness in terms of human experience and into human ingenuity to be competitive with AI.